You were taught to fear the clock. You were trained to believe that doors shut forever, that seasons expire without appeal, that opportunity is a single bell that rings once and then goes quiet for the rest of your life. You looked at the dates, you counted the birthdays, you reviewed the deadlines, and you agreed with a verdict that never came from spirit. Hear me plainly. Time is not your master. Law is your servant. Spirit does not organize reality by the hands of a wristwatch. Spirit organizes reality by the authority of your word. When years feel wasted, it is not because heaven misplaced your name. It is because your mouth went silent at the exact moment you were meant to rule. Delay is not punishment. Delay is what appears when governance is withheld. Do not romanticize waiting. Waiting without decree is not patience, it is permission. In the absence of a spoken instruction, appearances take control. The outer world is noisy and persuasive. It will happily script your fate if you remain quiet. Bills will tell you who you are. Statistics will tell you what is likely. Regret will tell you what is possible. And if you say nothing, you will live as if those voices held jurisdiction over your life. But the inner world, law, order, unseen pattern, does not answer to anxiety or to math. It answers to voice. The moment your word aligns with truth, time bends. Missed seasons realign. Roads you could not find become visible. Provision that looked far becomes near. This is not spectacle. This is the ordinary administration of spiritual law. Most people are intelligent, gifted, and diligent, and still stranded. They read, they plan, they compare, they grind, they even whisper prayers under their breath, and yet the one instrument that turns the axis refuses to leave its case. They do not decree. They wait for confirmation when law responds only to command. They ask the day to be kind when the day has been instructed to obey the one who speaks. They seek a feeling before they take possession, not realizing that feelings are followers, not leaders. It is not cruelty that keeps them in holding patterns. It is contradiction, declaring with hope in the morning and narrating doubt by noon, calling themselves chosen at 9 a.m. and calling themselves late at 3 p.m. Contradiction is a leak in the spirit. You do not fix a leak with effort. You fix a leak with a seal. And in this jurisdiction, the seal is lawful speech, repeated in rhythm until the field around you takes the new shape. Let us be precise. The spoken word in the realm of spirit is not decoration. It is not a motivational flourish. It is causal. The law you are dealing with is perfect and impersonal. It does not pity your tears, and it cannot be bribed by effort. It listens for identity in tone and instruction in language. When you speak as air, the system recognizes your voice print and moves. When you explain yourself like a beggar, the system hears no instruction and stands by. If nothing has changed, do not interrogate your worth. Examine your words. A royal child who refuses to speak will live as a clerk in a palace already signed to their name. Silence is often misbranded as humility. It is not. Silence, when the spirit within you is pressing for decree, is an agreement with postponement. It is an unsigned contract that still carries legal weight. You think you are being reverent by waiting. In truth, you are authorizing delay. You think you are being prudent by collecting one more sign. In truth, you are training your life to remain on hold. You call it not yet. The law reads it as stand by. You call it I'm processing. The law reads it as no instruction given. And until an instruction is issued, appearances, impartial and loud, keep the stage. You are not behind. Retire that phrase. You are not late. You are not disqualified. What is yours cannot be stolen. It can only be delayed by contradictory speech. Contradiction sounds like, I hope it happens, after you have already declared it is appointed. Contradiction sounds like, maybe my season passed, in the same breath as, I walk in perfect timing. Contradiction sounds like narrating scarcity to your friends after you have decreed supply in your secret place. That is not honesty, that is spiritual vandalism. Honesty is aligning your outer conversation with your inner decree. When speech matches identity, the field stabilizes. When speech quarrels with identity, the field hesitates, and time looks like an enemy. Understand jurisdiction. Authority is not volume, it is clarity. It is not theatrics, it is posture. A governor does not plead with the day to behave. A governor issues a lawful order and then walks as if the order were already installed. When you speak to your morning before your morning speaks to you, you train the hours to carry your signature. When you speak to a bill before you pay it, you erase the hidden agreement that says, I pay in fear first, then I ask for increase. When you speak to your path in the middle of confusion, you refuse to let confusion label you. The universe you inhabit has been designed to respond to voice, not any voice, your voice authenticated by identity. But I need more time, you say. No, you need a new word. Time is a resource, not a redeemer. Law is the redeemer. Law reorders what time is scattered. Law returns what regret swore was gone. Law collapses the detours that effort cannot shorten. When you treat time like a judge, you live as a defendant, apologizing for missed chances, grieving old years, bargaining with the future. When you treat law as your instrument, you live as a ruler, commanding sequence, sealing outcomes, walking into prepared places at prepared hours. The difference is not luck. The difference is speech. I'm going to hand you a sentence that snaps you back into rhythm. A sentence that folds the calendar and returns momentum without strain. But before you carry the key, you must choose the posture. Authority precedes instruction. If you attempt to speak like royalty while thinking like an orphan, you will turn the decree into a superstition and then blame the heavens when your experiment fails. So settle this now. Your life moves at the speed of your word, not at the speed of your mood, not at the speed of other people's approval, not at the speed of public timelines. Your word is the metronome. Your days follow the beat. And let me deal gently with a belief that sounds noble and produces nothing. The belief that if you wait quietly long enough, life will reveal its purpose to you. Purpose is not summoned by passivity. Purpose is provoked by decree. Destiny does not materialize in the silence of fear. Destiny recognizes the vibration of certainty. But what if I'm wrong? Then law will redirect a moving vessel faster than it can move a parked one. You are not punished for speaking. You are punished by silence, because silence cedes rule to appearances, and appearances have never been kind shepherds. Do not confuse sincerity with authority. You can be sincere and leave everything untouched. You can cry, journal, confess, and still instruct the law to do nothing because you have given it no order. Conversely, you can whisper one clean sentence with legal clarity and watch the tangle begin to loosen of its own accord. That is why I am ruthless about leaks. If you decree alignment at dawn and narrate delay at noon, repair it. Say quietly, I revoke that, and restate your position. Not dramatic, not panicked, clean. This is spiritual hygiene. The consistent care of your atmosphere so your decree does not evaporate under casual speech. You say you are waiting on God. God is waiting on jurisdictional speech. You say you are stuck, you are unspoken. You say you missed the window. Windows are for watchers, doors are for governors. Speak, and what looked like a wall will disclose a seam. Speak, and the path you could not find will light one stone at a time. Speak, and the people you require will locate you by resonance, not by chance. This is how late becomes on time without a single apology to the past. Let us take this out of abstraction and into operation. From this moment forward, you will not begin a day without issuing it an order. not a poetic wish, an order. You will not approach a transaction without declaring its spirit. Fear will not be the unspoken currency anymore. You will not walk into a conversation without setting your tone. Your identity will arrive first. You will not let regret narrate your evenings. Your last word will be law, not lack. This is not about becoming loud. It is about becoming lawful. When you stand in your room and speak, do not perform. Lift your head, loosen your jaw, let your shoulders fall. Speak as one who expects compliance. Authority has a sound. Find it, use it, keep it. But what if the facts disagree? Appearances speak last. If you let them speak first, they will take the job. Law is not naive about facts. Law is superior in order. When you issue a lawful decree, you are not pretending the mountain is not there. You are instructing the sequence that moves it. You are not denying the invoice. You are denying fear the right to interpret the exchange. You are not ignoring years that feel misplaced. You are commanding the return route. The child of a king does not rewrite reality by denial. The child of a king rewrites reality by jurisdiction. Here's what will happen when you choose this posture. You will notice how often your mouth has been narrating delay on autopilot. You will hear phrases you thought were harmless. I'm always late, my time passed, maybe next year, it never happens for me. And you will feel, for the first time, the cost attached to them. Do not be condemned by that awareness. Be crowned by it. Awareness is coronation. The moment you notice the leak, you are qualified to seal it. Replace the narration with decree. Replace the apology with announcement. Replace, if it's meant to be, with what is mine is arriving in order. And then move. Movement is not defiance of faith. Movement is the proof that your decree is installed. I could hand you the sentence now, and I will. But the sentence without the posture becomes a line in a journal. Another ritual you try for a week. Another story you tell to explain why this didn't work either. So commit to the posture first. Decide that your life will never again be governed by the volume of your feelings or the headlines of your day. Decide that your atmosphere will be authored by your speech. Decide that you will no longer call fear prudence or silence humility. Decide that you will treat your word like a legal instrument, not a sentimental flourish. Then, when the sentence arrives, it will land in good soil. You have not missed your life. You have not failed your destiny. You have simply left the throne unattended in a kingdom that already bears your name. Sit down. Lift your head. Issue the order. The page you thought had dried out is still wet with possibility. The date you thought had expired belongs to a different calendar. The timeline you thought was shattered is waiting for the one sound it recognizes, the sound of a child speaking like an heir. And when you speak like that, cleanly, calmly, consistently, the years that wandered will return to their posts as if they never left. That is not poetry. That is law. Hold this posture. In the next chapter, I will show you why silence manufactures delay and how the law, perfect, impartial, and obedient, answers only to voice. Then I will place a single sentence in your mouth and teach you to carry it for 21 days until your timeline learns your name. For now, let this be the last hour you ever describe yourself as behind. You are not behind. You are in position, and position responds to decree. Silence is not neutral. In a world built to answer voice, silence is an instruction that tells appearances to set the course. When you withhold decree, you do not create a sacred pause. You file an invisible order that reads, proceed by default. Default is loud and unkind. It drafts your day according to habit and the nearest fear if you do not speak first. You may call it waiting, prudence, or processing. Law reads it as no directive on file. Delay is not born in the calendar. Delay is born in words that were never issued. The structure is simple and uncompromising. The law you are dealing with is perfect and impersonal. It does not grade emotions, negotiate with effort, or reward drama. It recognizes identity by tone and executes instruction by language. Intention is honorable, but intention without decree is a room full of instruments no one plays. The subconscious, the gatekeeper of pattern, does not obey intention. It obeys repeated, precise sentences delivered from the posture of who you are. Speak as air and your system stabilizes, your mind reorganizes, and circumstances begin to cooperate. Hold your voice hostage until a right feeling arrives, and you train life to require feelings before movement, an expensive requirement that drains years. Silence is often misbranded as humility or wisdom. I'm waiting on clarity, you say, while days leak out under indecision. Clarity is not a prerequisite for decree. Decree is the precursor to clarity. Those who govern do not map every corridor before they speak. They speak, and corridors light by sequence. If you insist on complete information before issuing a word, you become an archivist of other people's breakthroughs, a librarian of timelines that never open for you. Governance is not rash, it is preemptive. In a voice-activated kingdom, the first sound sets the pattern. Watch how this plays out in ordinary scenes. Before a transaction, if you do not speak, fear becomes the silent currency and trains you to minimize. Before a conversation, if you do not set your tone, outdated roles rush in and you perform the survival self instead of the governing one. Before a decision, if you do not declare jurisdiction, every outside voice feels equal to your own. The problem is rarely the decision itself. It is the atmosphere in which the decision is made. Atmosphere is authored by speech. Whoever speaks first, your decree or your doubt, becomes the architect of the hour. Doesn't a good heart count? Your heart is the engine. Your words are the ignition. Engines do not move cars without a spark. You can be kind, brilliant, and sincere and still remain parked in front of your destiny because you have not turned the key. Emotion can accompany authority, but emotion is not authority. Volume can accompany authority, but volume is not authority. Authority is clarity undergirded by identity. It sounds like a settled decision. It does not beg the day to be gentle. It tells the day what it may and may not deliver. Move your speech out of poetry and into policy. Policy is how governors behave. Policy speaks before the hour begins, so the hour is forced to comply. On waking, this day honors my decree. I move in appointed rhythm. Before you pay, I transact in peace and surplus. Fear has no access to this exchange. Entering a meeting, I arrive as who I am. What is mine comes in order. When resistance flares, policy speaks again. You do not explain yourself to resistance. You overrule it. Guard against contradiction. Most decrees evaporate there. Contradiction is not only saying two different things. It is decreeing alignment in one room and narrating doubt in another. You tell the morning, I walk in perfect timing, and at lunch you joke, I'm always late to the things that matter. You announce, provision meets me in order, then diffuse your nerves by claiming money avoids you. These are not harmless throwaways. They are cancellations dressed as personality. The law does not grade your humor. It records your instruction. If an offhand sentence conflicts with the morning's decree, the latest instruction wins. That is why results feel inconsistent. Your world is obeying two masters, identity at dawn, insecurity at noon. There is a clean remedy. Make revocation part of your spiritual hygiene. If an old sentence slips, do not dramatize it. Do not spiral. Say calmly, I revoke that, and restate your lawful position. Revocation is not superstition, it is administrative clarity. You are editing the file before execution. Consistency is not never slipping. Consistency is never letting a slip draft the day. Because this kingdom is voice-activated, the order of speaking matters. Speak first and appearances must answer to you. Speak second and you answer to appearances. If you do not frame the morning, emails, news, and comparison will gladly do it for you. You begin the day reacting instead of ruling. But if the first sound the day hears from you is a lawful order, you have set the metronome. Distractions may attempt a solo, they still have to play in your tempo. This is why prose over performance matters. Performed decrees make a spectacle of authority and then evaporate when the lights go off. Real authority depends on no props. It travels with you. Into a grocery line, a video call, a doctor's office, a negotiation, your kitchen table at night with a bill on the counter. Practiced authority lowers your shoulders, steadies your jaw, selects words with care, and refuses filler that mortgages the next hour. It does not apologize after issuing an order. It does not tack on, but if not, that's okay to soothe fear. If you need to settle your nerves, do it with breath, not with cancellations. Run a 24-hour audit. Track your first sentences in each scene. The line you think on waking, the line you speak about money, about time, about your body when it hurts, about the challenge in front of you. Those first sentences are governance. If they narrate the past, upgrade them. If they are vague hopes, sharpen them. If they are sarcastic, revoke them. Replace them with clean policy. This day honors my decree. I transact in peace and surplus. My time answers to my word. My body remembers order. I am guided and redirected without friction. Make it mundane and repeatable. Mundane becomes normal. Normal becomes structural. Expect your environment to test the new language. That is inertia, not malice. Systems prefer their old setting. The first resistance is usually internal, the urge to add a disclaimer, to tell a self-deprecating story, to demand a sign before action. Discipline here is simple. Refuse to purchase delay at full price. Analysis that outruns instruction, confessional drama masquerading as connection, comparison disguised as research. None of these are crimes. They are just expensive. Choose cheaper habits. Choose speech. You might ask, if law is impersonal, does God care? Precisely because God cares, a law exists to keep your life from being at the mercy of moods. Law is the mercy of order. It is the kindness of a system that will do today what it did yesterday when you speak with clarity. Feelings are waves. Law is shoreline. You can decree with a shaky voice, and it still holds, because power rests in the clarity of the word, not the theater of your composure. You are not disqualified by trembling. You are only delayed by silence. Give yourself rails as you retrain. 3 invisible bells. Morning, midday, night. At each bell, ask, what atmosphere am I authoring with my words right now? If it is stale, refresh it with a single precise sentence and move on. No self-trial. You are not on trial, you are in training. Training aims at automaticity. We are not manufacturing a high. We are installing a rhythm that makes contradiction feel foreign in your mouth. Mind the social trap of undoing your decree in the name of relatability. You do not need to bleed for belonging. If someone asks how things are, and your decree has been, provision arrives in order, you do not owe a performance of scarcity for sympathy. Things are organizing is sufficient. If someone feeds on drama, do not feed them. You are not required to narrate chaos to be understood. Each time you choose a clean sentence over a chaotic story, you teach your nervous system which voice holds jurisdiction. One more subtle leak, the apology that follows a decree. You say, I'm redirected and on time, then add, well, I hope so. Hope is beautiful before a decree. It is costly after one. Trade that habit for stillness. After you speak, seal it. Let the words settle. Breathe. Learn what it feels like to state a thing and not negotiate with it. Stillness after speech is part of the instruction. It says to law, no edits forthcoming. Execute. If this sounds like just semantics, understand, semantics are the hinges on which worlds turn. The difference between I hope and I authorize, between I wish and I require, between maybe later and now in order, is not poetry, it is jurisdiction. The law is parsing your language for permission to move. Give it sentences that double as signatures. Set these policies before you proceed. Begin days by issuing orders. Frame transactions before they frame you. Enter conversations with your tone decided. Revoke leaks without drama, and restate your decree. Stop softening your word with cancellations. Stop purchasing delay with clever analysis. These rails are gentle and strong. They keep you from slipping back into the numb comfort of silence. You do not owe delay another hour. You owe your life a voice. Speak first and watch chaos shrink. Speak cleanly and notice crooked things straighten. Speak consistently and see on time become normal. You will not earn this with strain. You will authorize it with speech. And you will discover what healed governors know. The path was never withheld. It was standing by, waiting for your word. You have unseated the myth that years can be lost, and you have dismantled the lie that silence is neutral. Now you need a key you can actually carry. One sentence that gathers what appears scattered, releases resistance to the new route, and accelerates delivery without strain. This is not a slogan to decorate a journal. It is legal speech designed to change jurisdiction. Say it exactly as given, cleanly and without apology. Nothing is lost in spirit. I am now divinely redirected. What is mine comes swiftly and cannot be stopped. Each clause performs a specific function. Nothing is lost in spirit, withdraws consent from the story of waste and opens the ledger of restoration. I am now divinely redirected, ends the fight with the old route, and authorizes the path that actually belongs to you. What is mine comes swiftly and cannot be stopped, engages orderly acceleration under grace, movement without friction, haste without panic, arrival without negotiation. Do not rush the sentence. Authority is not a shout, it is a settled tone. Stand, lift your head, let your shoulders fall, and speak at the pace of comprehension, not performance. Give the words room to land. After the final clause, allow a brief stillness. That stillness is part of the instruction. It tells law, execute, no edits forthcoming. If a tremor runs through your chest, you are not disqualified. Trembling voices sign valid contracts every day. What voids a contract is not emotion but contradiction. If a leaky sentence slips out later, some reflex like, maybe I missed my chance, simply say, I revoke that, then restate the decree. No drama. Clean administration. Now install the rhythm that makes this more than a momentary burst of courage. For 21 consecutive days, you will place this sentence at 3 gates. Before the day begins, at the center of the day, and before the night hands you to your subconscious. Within 3 minutes of waking, before news, messages, or memory climb into the room, stand and speak the decree once, then again slower, and a third time with breath that lands the final clause like a seal. Midday, choose a recurring window that you can honor most days. Step away from the screen, let your gaze rest on something simple, and speak the sentence once with full attention. Night, just before lights out, whisper it so that the last sound your mind practices is law, not lack. This cadence is not superstition. It is jurisdiction by rhythm. You are teaching your atmosphere who commands it. Keep the sentence near the places where you forget. Lock screen, wallet card, the top of your task list, a sticky note inside the cabinet where your worry lives. If you work in shared space, carry it on your breath. The law does not require an audience. The decree can be quiet and still carry weight, provided it is clear, consistent, and uncontradicted. If you want a tactile anchor, touch the center of your chest on "Nothing is lost in spirit." Open your palm on "I am now divinely redirected," and place that palm down beside you on "What is mine comes swiftly and cannot be stopped." Gesture is not magic, it is memory. It helps your body learn the meaning of your word. Use the sentence in scenes that used to drain you. When an unexpected invoice arrives, do not narrate panic to your friends and then attempt to decree as cleanup. Decree first. Nothing is lost in spirit, then pay from posture, not from fear. When a message triggers regret, do not rehearse the old story. Decree first. I am now divinely redirected, then answer as the person who is already on the right road. When a meeting invites you to shrink, do not promise yourself you will speak up next time. Decree quietly as you walk in. What is mine comes swiftly and cannot be stopped. Then contribute without apology. You are not trying to impress anyone. You are instructing sequence. Do not hunt for signs as if the universe owes you a daily spectacle. Look instead for compliance. Small reorganizations that match your instruction. A conversation lands you did not have to chase. A solution arrives by a route you did not predict. A delay dissolves without your usual performance of urgency. Treat these not as miracles to be doubted, but as lawful responses to your decree. Name them as such. Compliance, so your nervous system learns to recognize order instead of waiting for chaos. If your mind argues while you speak, "This is too simple, I don't feel it, what if nothing happens?" Let the argument pass like weather and keep the cadence. We are not manufacturing a high, we are installing a metronome. On days when resistance is loud, slow the sentence down and pair it with breath. Inhale through the nose as you say, "Nothing is lost in spirit." Exhale on, "I am now divinely redirected." Rest for a heartbeat, then release. What is mine comes swiftly and cannot be stopped. 3 cycles will usually quiet the noise. If it does not, do 5. You are not wrestling the universe, you are retraining a habit. Action follows decree, not as proof of worth, but as proof of installation. After you speak in the morning, do the next obvious lawful action. Send the email. Submit the application. Make the call. Clear the shelf. Governors move, they do not hover, waiting to be carried. If a door does not open, you are not wrong, you are being redirected. Say the sentence again, and take the step that presents itself. Redirection under law is not a downgrade, it is a correction to accuracy. The fastest route is the one you can actually walk. Guard against the 2 most common cancellations, softening and spectacle. Softening sounds like, "I declare this," followed by, "But if not, that's okay." You meant to be humble, you surrendered jurisdiction. Spectacle sounds like shouting the decree to convince a room you believe it. You meant to be bold, you outsourced your authority to other people's reactions. Choose neither. Choose clarity, calm, and consistency. Speak as if your words are already on file, which, under law, they are. Because you are changing a lifetime of habits, give yourself an audit that takes minutes, not hours. Each evening of the 21 days, write a date and answer 3 lines in 1 breath each. Where did I decree first? Where did I revoke a leak? Where did I move as if redirected? Do not grade your day like a scolding teacher. Record like a clerk. This is not for inspiration, it is for installation. When you look back at the page, you will not see perfection. You will see rhythm. Rhythm is the evidence that a new normal is forming. There will be moments when appearances shout too late. That is your cue, not to retreat, but to speak in a lower, steadier tone. The law hears the settled, not the frantic. Say the sentence and then remain quiet for a breath longer than is comfortable. Let the old habit of rushing collapse under the weight of your stillness. Then take the next step that is obvious and lawful. This is how you make on time your baseline. Not by outrunning fear, but by outranking it. If you need a pocket-sized version for crowded moments, condense without losing the legal force. Nothing lost. I am redirected. Mine arrives in order. Use it only as a bridge when noise is high or time is short, then return to the full sentence at your next gate. Precision matters. We are not trying to be clever. We are being clear. You will notice changes before the 21 days end, not because shouting moves mountains, but because sequence obeys jurisdiction. Emails stop scaring you because you have already spoken to the day. Invoices stop dictating your mood because you have already declared the spirit of the transaction. Conversations stop shrinking you because you arrive with your tone decided. Regret stops rehearsing itself because your last sound at night is law. None of this is theatrical. It is structural. Hold this line. Nothing is lost in spirit. I am now divinely redirected. What is mine comes swiftly and cannot be stopped. Treat it as a signature, not a wish. Let it become the way you open doors, interpret delays, and translate detours into accuracy. If you catch yourself asking the clock for permission, remember who issues orders in this jurisdiction. Time is a resource. Your decree is the governor. Speak, seal, and proceed. The sequence will comply. If you want to see what this looks like when it leaves theory and touches calendars, examine two lives that had already written themselves off. The first was a woman who declined a partnership 5 years earlier and built an altar to that single decision. Every conversation circled back to the same sentence, dressed in different clothes. I had my window, and I let it close. She had adjusted her ambitions downward to avoid the pain of that story, calling it realism so she would not have to treat it as disobedience. I refused the verdict. We did not process feelings for 12 sessions. We changed jurisdiction in 12 seconds. I placed the sentence in her mouth. Nothing is lost in spirit. I am now divinely redirected. What is mine comes swiftly and cannot be stopped, and installed the rhythm, morning, midday, night, no apology, no softening, no post-decree chatter to make doubt comfortable. For 7 days, nothing spectacular happened, and that was the point. She was learning to prefer order over adrenaline. On day 8, a former colleague called with a new venture. Better governance, cleaner equity, saner partners, terms that protected her time, a scope that matched her actual gift. She did not conjure this with hustle. She authorized it with speech. The earlier path had been rehearsal. The real stage revealed itself when she stopped narrating loss and started issuing orders. What returned was not the old thing resurrected. It was the right thing arriving by the only door it trusted, authority. The second was a man who had carried a 20-year mistake like a pilgrimage stone, a business he tried to force into fruit long after the tree was telling him it wasn't his orchard. He called it wasted time. I called it a pattern trained by contradiction. He had been decreeing direction in private and then buying delay in public with clever self-deprecation and forensic regret. We kept the core sentence and added a companion line calibrated to his wound. My years are not lost. They are repaid in perfect purpose. Same protocol, same rails. Speak first, seal it, revoke leaks immediately, move on the next lawful step without theatrics. In weeks, not years, a dormant relationship resurfaced with a proposal that gathered the best of 2 decades. Trust built the hard way. A market he actually understood. Capital from people who valued his restraint, not his performance. What should have taken 10 more years assembled itself in 10 weeks. He did not suddenly become lucky. He became lawful. Law did the math that effort could not. It compressed sequence because the contradiction that kept tearing the pattern was finally sealed. If you listen only for the headline, you will call these coincidences. If you read the case file like a governor, you will see compliance. In both lives, 3 changes occurred. First, posture shifted from pleading to jurisdiction. The tone of their speech stopped asking reality to cooperate and began telling it what to do. That sound is not arrogance, it is accuracy. Second, language became non-negotiable. They removed the softeners and disclaimers that used to follow every bold sentence like a nervous chaperone. After the decree, they allowed stillness. Stillness is instruction. It tells law there will be no edits. Third, rhythm replaced intensity. Instead of chasing a high and crashing into doubt by noon, they installed a metronome, 3 clear strikes a day for 21 days. Rhythm is how authority becomes ordinary. Ordinary is how structure changes. Notice what did not happen. They did not wait for the perfect mood. They did not demand a sign before they spoke. They did not turn the decree into spectacle to convince bystanders they believed it. They did not audition for belonging by downgrading their language in public. They did not treat resistance as a message from heaven. They treated it as inertia and answered it with policy. They stopped apologizing after they issued an order. They used revocation like a pen. I revoke that. Restate, proceed. This is not drama. It is administration. Also notice how redirection worked. The woman did not get the first partnership back. She received a better one that honored her actual identity, which is what redirection always protects. The man did not resuscitate a failing model. He was ushered into the part of his field that had been waiting for his voice to stop contradicting itself. Redirection under law is not a consolation prize. It is precision. When you say, I am now divinely redirected, you are not asking to be spared discomfort. You are authorizing the rote that can carry your weight without collapse. There is a technical reason results accelerate under this posture, and it has nothing to do with magic. Your decree becomes the first instruction systems receive, so people, processes, and even your own nervous system stop wasting cycles reacting to your contradictions. Emails stop drafting you. You draft them. Money stops inheriting fear from your silence. It inherits order from your voice. Meetings stop shrinking you because you arrive with your tone decided. Regret stops rehearsing because your last sound at night is law. All of this saves time precisely because it removes the rework created by leaks. Saved time feels like miracle when it is often the absence of sabotage. If you are tempted to dismiss these as outliers, run a smaller test on common ground. Choose one scene that usually drains you: the invoice, the inbox, the family conversation, the room where you feel younger than you are. Speak the sentence before you touch the scene. Keep it clean. Do not add a soothing clause for fear. Do not perform. Then act on the next lawful step, even if it is as small as sending one line or asking one direct question. Watch what changes. It may be subtle at first. Less adrenaline, fewer edits, a faster yes, a clearer no. Subtle is not small. Subtle is structural. Structural shifts compound. Compounding is how years get returned. Remember the audit we established. Where did I decree first? Where did I revoke a leak? Where did I move as if redirected? When you read a week of those lines, you will not see fireworks. You will see a pattern that makes fireworks unnecessary. Governors do not chase exciting days. They create obedient ones and let obedience produce the results excitement promises but rarely delivers. Treat delays that dissolve as compliance, not flukes. Name them so your body learns. Say quietly, that's order answering my word, and proceed. Treat detours that appear as redirection, not punishment. Bless the closed route. It saved you from a stage that could not hold you. Treat surprising speed as acceleration under grace, not as a reason to panic and invent new caution. Your pace is not recklessness. It is the removal of resistance. Perhaps the most important proof is internal and cannot be captured in a testimonial. The moment your mouth refuses to narrate old stories after you have decreed a new one. That refusal is the hinge. It is where you stop renting your days to comparison and begin owning them by policy. It is quiet, dignified, strong. No one will clap for it, but everything will answer to it. So do not envy outcomes. Envy the posture and then adopt it. Do not collect other people's miracle days like souvenirs. Install the rails that make days obey you. The law you are dealing with is perfect and impersonal. It will administer your instruction with the same precision it administered theirs. Speak first, seal it, revoke leaks, move as if redirected. Call the early shifts compliance, call the new routes precision, call the speed grace, and keep the sentence at the gates that matter. Nothing is lost in spirit. I am now divinely redirected. What is mine comes swiftly and cannot be stopped. When this becomes ordinary in your mouth, on time becomes ordinary in your life. What you decree must be kept, and kept means sealed. Most people speak once, and then spend the rest of the day softening, explaining, and casually contradicting what they announced. That is how power leaks. Sealing is the discipline of matching atmosphere to instruction until your timeline has no choice but to comply. Do not chase a high. Install a habit. Begin each morning by authoring the day before the day authors you. Within minutes of waking, stand, breathe, and place the signature on the calendar. Nothing is lost in spirit. I am now divinely redirected. What is mine comes swiftly and cannot be stopped. Follow it with clean policy stated in ordinary language so your nervous system understands the assignment. This day honors my decree. I move in appointed rhythm. I take the next lawful step without apology. Then move. Governors do not wait for mood. They let motion prove installation. At midday, when messages, metrics, or meetings try to bait you back into performance, refresh the atmosphere instead of narrating the chaos. Step away from the screen, let your shoulders fall, and restate the jurisdiction. Nothing is lost in spirit. I am now divinely redirected. What is mine comes swiftly and cannot be stopped. Add a precise clarification if needed. My path is being cleared in silence. I transact in peace and surplus. Guidance arrives in order and I answer it without friction. Do not perform. Precision spoken calmly is stronger than volume spoken nervously. If a leak slips out, some reflex like I'm always late or money runs from me, edit the file in real time. Say, I revoke that, restate the decree, and proceed. This is administrative clarity, not drama. At night, before sleep, hands the microphone to your subconscious. Let the last sound be law, not lack. Whisper the sentence once, then again slower, and seal it with stillness long enough for your body to register that no edits are coming. Close the day with a short ledger instead of a long story. Where did I decree first? Where did I revoke a leak? Where did I move as if redirected? You are not grading yourself. You are confirming rhythm. Rhythm, not strain, is what rewires timelines. If regret tries to perform a monologue, bless the path you walked as training and replace the narration with jurisdiction. Spirit wastes nothing. What bears my name returns in better form. I sleep in order and wake in appointment. Because language becomes architecture, keep a compact sequence ready for tight rooms and crowded moments. Use it to govern transitions, thresholds, and scenes that used to drain you. Nothing is lost. I am redirected. Mine arrives in order. Then, at your next gate, return to the full sentence with breathing room. Precision is non-negotiable. This is not about sounding spiritual. It is about issuing instructions that systems can execute. After each decree, resist the reflex to soften it with that's okay if not. Softening is a cancellation in polite clothing. If nerves spike, settle them with breath, not amendments. Stillness after speech is part of the order. It tells law to proceed. You do not need to convince anyone. You are not auditioning for agreement. When asked how things are, you can answer without betraying your policy. Things are organizing. I am on time and redirected. The next step is already in motion. You owe no one a performance of chaos for sympathy. Each time you choose a clean sentence over a chaotic story, you train your system to recognize which voice carries jurisdiction. If resistance arrives in the form of delay, do not negotiate with it. Name it correctly. Inertia. Answer it with policy, not panic. Speak, seal, and take the smallest lawful action in front of you. Momentum belongs to movers. For the next 21 days, carry the signature through 3 gates, morning, midday, night, without apology and without spectacle. Let everything else become ordinary obedience to that signature. Nothing is lost in spirit. I am now divinely redirected. What is mine comes swiftly and cannot be stopped. Surround it with supporting facts that match your identity, not wishes that beg for escape. My timeline answers to my word. I transact in peace and surplus. I walk in appointed rhythm. Delay ends where decree begins. Demonstration is my normal. Keep it prose, keep it calm, keep it consistent. Expect early compliance to look subtle. A faster yes, a cleaner no, less rework, fewer edits, less adrenaline and more order. Subtle is not small. Subtle is structural, and structure is what returns years. Seal this publicly in the simplest way. Write the sentence once, without emojis or disclaimers, where you will see it again. Treat it as a contract with order, not a caption for approval. When doubt visits, read your own words back to yourself and refuse to translate them into apology. The clock is not your judge, it is your servant. Your word is the metronome. Your days follow the beat. Speak, seal, proceed, and let sequence obey. And so it is.